How many of you ever been to a military ceremony or attended a military ceremony, whether it was at our nation's capital or whether it was at your local military base? One of the first things you probably noticed was the sharpness and the precision that the military members had in every single one of their drill moments. Today I'll be covering the history of drill and how we actually use it in current times in the military. Drill all started in the very early stages of our country. Back in 1775, when our country earned its independence, we were striving to be able to beat the British, and we were faced with a lot of problems. We had undisciplined warriors, we were fighting marching units of British redcoats, and we needed to find some sort of way to be able to make our men more disciplined. According to DrillPad.net, the History of Drill article, George Washington noticed this was becoming a big problem. So he knows there was no discipline, and him and Benjamin Franklin found someone to actually teach his army drill. Baron von Steuben was the man that they found. He actually arrived, and when he arrived, he found an army of half-starved, wretched men in rags. The movements that von Steuben actually taught the men brought a new type of discipline to the military in general. The men were actually able to respond to commands without hesitation, and it just made the whole Washington Army more powerful than the British Army. We had that missing piece in the military, and I think drill was what all brought it together. Also on the website, on a different website, drill.net, the article the history of U.S. military drill and tactics from 1779 to 1891, it said drill has been claimed to have won the war for the Americans. So they actually wrote a field manual on drill and made it specifically for each branch to be able to follow to instill that discipline in the U.S. military from here until for all the future generations to come. So that was just a little bit of history on drill. How does something that happened back in the Revolutionary War actually relate to today's military? Well, I can tell you drill is the foundation for every single military branch. Every single basic military training actually incorporates drill and ceremony. The reason why they incorporate that into the process of becoming a military member is to instill the discipline and the ability to respond to commands without any sort of hesitation. Because just as the men fought and died to make this country free, using drill to bring out the best of the men creates some kind of order, and we actually use drill to get our troops to be able to respond to all of our commands. Being able to bring the best out of an individual, I think, happens through drill and ceremony. Just as von Steuben wanted the military to actually perform drill, each and every service has a manual on how drill should actually be performed. Over the years, it has evolved into many different types of drill, many different types of ceremonies, and it's the foundation of our military in general. I always tell the trainees that I have the privilege of turning into molded warrior airmen, I always tell them that I'm not going to use drill on a day-to-day basis in my job in the Air Force. However, that foundation of discipline that I learn performing drill, I'm going to use for the rest of my entire career. Because it's that ability to respond to commands without hesitation, that ability to be the best and to do everything with perfection is what the U.S. military embodies and takes and actually does in the war in Afghanistan and all the different wars that we have fought throughout the history. So the importance of drill and ceremonies to our military members is key, and I showed you that throughout my entire speech. I covered the history of drill and ceremonies and who needed it. General George Washington needing to actually find some sort of way to to make his army disciplined so that they can be ready to fight the redcoats. I also show you exactly how it relates to our military nowadays, because something so long ago, the tradition keeps going and it evolves over time and actually helps us in today's war in Afghanistan. So now that you see exactly what, now that you've heard exactly what drill is a little bit about, some of the past, and exactly how it relates to the future, I challenge you to go out to your nearest military base, or maybe even to a military funeral, and see what exactly military drill is all about. See that perfection. See why, and now you'll actually be able to relate it and know exactly why we perform drill in the United States military. Thank you.